Okay, so welcome back to the session. Good evening, everyone. I think for the online, hope my voice is clear for all of you. Can you please confirm in chat box once whether I'm audible or not? So today we're gonna learn some interesting concepts in Terraform. Okay, so fine from online, great. Okay, so in last class we have ended with the concept of meta arguments, right? Providers. Okay, so let's go with the rest of the concepts today. And at the end of session, I'm gonna tell you what is the freelancing work that I have done in this Sunday in Terraform. Okay, same work I'm gonna show you how to do it. So in today's class, we're gonna see the concept called version constraints. Which one? Sir, a version constant is nothing but getting the specific version from Terraform actually. Okay. So before I explain this one, if I go to my server, currently if I go and give the command sudo -i in the Terraform folder, I can see something called as providers version. Okay. So I think you know what is terraform.tf_state.d. You know this one, right? What is this one? Contain the different. I know, man. Different state files of different workspaces. Okay. So if I go in you like I'm gonna remove everything here. I don't want anything as of now. Just I'll be going here and I'll using one main.tf. Main dot. So in the main.tf, I'll put some small EC2 code here. It's the EC2 code. I don't want lifecycle and everything. I'll just simply cut it off. But wait, I think this provider AWS is not recorded. Okay, great. So the moment if I run Terraform init, what is the first thing it will happen? Download the provider. Already you know this one, right? So this is what we are going to deal in today's session. In today's session, I'm going to teach you how the provider plugins will work. If you know about providers, how many type of providers we do have? No. Three categories: official, partnered, community. Correct or not, sir? Let's take official. Official means AWS, Azure, GCP, Kubernetes. This will come with the official part. Official. Partner means Alibaba, IBM. So this will come with partner. Okay. Community means some other XYZ, anything. So whenever if I do Terraform init, where my plugins are going to store? Where my plugins are going to store? In .terraform folder. Which folder? If I go to cd.terraform, you can see hell lot of provider plugins. You can see the providers. Are you able to see now? Go to cd providers. In the provider section, are you seeing register.terraform.io? Go to here also. Okay. If I give LL, are you seeing HashiCorp? In HashiCorp, are you seeing AWS, GitHub and local? Previously, we used local provider. So local plugins will store here. Before that, we use GitHub provider, GitHub credentials and plugins will store here. And we create AWS resource that will store here. So dot Terraform is a folder which will hold all the provider plugins. This I said in the starting session, and now also I'm repeating the same thing. So in interview, they might ask you, whenever if you download provider plugins of specific provider, where you are going to store the provider plugins? Dot Terraform itself. Okay. I mean like dot Terraform folder. There you are going to have specific number of folders. For each provider, we are having each separate folder. Let me go to AWS here. In the AWS, are you seeing the versions here? This we are going to deal with the concept that is called as version constraint. Which one? Sorry, if I go to the official documentation of Terraform providers, type here Terraform providers. Go here. Click on dismiss. Now these are the providers. If I click on AWS, what is the latest version here? 5.56.1. If I click on drop down, this will be the rest of the provider plugin. If I click on view all versions, now HashiCorp will show me what are the provider plugins that we have used till the date. So you can get list of providers plugins like this. But among them, in real time, you need to understand you are going to use the specific provider plugins only. I'll tell you what is the reason. Let me go and take a small example. Currently, initially, for example, let's take it is 2022. Which one? 2000. In 2022, HashiCorp using version 3 plugin. After 2023, the version plugins are changing from 3 to 4. And in 2024, currently we are using the provider plugins of version 5. Now tell me one thing. If I try to use provider version plugins of 3, old one, is it going to work with the new one now? It won't work. Why? Because there is some small use case you need to understand. If you understand, AWS console is going to change for every 6 months or not, sir? That means for every 6 months, new features are going to come to the AWS console. If I use the old plugins will not compatible with the new features. That is the reason why we are going to use the provider updates. Okay. So again, to make it very simple, you are having the mobile. Whenever you bought the mobile, your Android version is 1.2.3. But whenever, if new updates come to your Android, you need to update the version of 1.2.3 to 1.2.4 or not, sir? If you don't update, what will happen? New features will not work. Here also same purpose. So AWS will keep changing the console and bring the new features to the console. So similarly in Terraform also, what are the provider plugins that you download? It will not compatible with all the versions. So definitely when AWS updates something in Terraform also, you need to update the providers plugin. So this concept we can do with the help of version constant. So again, the version constant is nothing but you can go and see when we change the versions of the provider plugins. Okay, we can change the version of provider plugins. Whenever a new change happen to the AWS console, the old code will not work. So if you want to work with the new code window, download the new provider plugin to the new code in real time. We update the plugins based upon our requirement. For example, let me go and show you. Currently, latest version is 5.56. By default, whenever if you use Terraform in it, you get the latest one only, 5.56.1. Latest one or not, sir? Let's take in future 5.56.1 got removed. So your company asks you to use 5.6.1. So in that case, how you are going to update the provider plugin? So the concept is very simple. Go to main.tf. In the main.tf, write a block. Okay. So click on use provider, copy the entire structure here, just paste it. Currently the version is 5.56.1. I cannot update. Why? Because it is the latest one. But if I put in the version, if I put less than 5.6.1, I'll get the version which is less than 5.6.1. So Terraform is the block, required providers. I want AWS providers, and a source. Where I'm getting it from? I'm getting it from HashiCorp AWS, and it is the provider thing. So now current one is 5.56.1, but if I use the command Terraform, init upgrade, what you need to give? Upgrade. Automatically your version will be less than 5.56.1. What I'm getting? 5.56. Less than 5.56.1 or not, sir? Why you are going for downgrade means I don't have any new plugins. I need to go for downgrade only. Okay. That is the reason now I'm using 5.56. For example, let's take my current version is 5.56. Now if I want to make more than 5.56, instead of 5.56, can I put greater than 5.56 or not, sir? So put greater than 5.56.0. Now automatically 5.56.1 will come itself. You can use less than, you can use greater than, you can use less than or equal to, or you can use greater than or equal to. Let me show all the possible ways for you. So now go here, vim main.tf. So in the main.tf, now I'm gonna tell you a syntax like this. For example, I want a provider plugin which is less than 5.5. So provider plugin must be less than 5.5, comma, and it must be greater than 5.4.0. So provider plugin must be less than 5.4.0 and must be greater than 5.4.0 and less than 5.5.0. So now in the middle range, you are going to get the providers. Let me go and instead of a minute upgrade. What is telling that? Fail to query provider. Why? Because it must be greater than 5.4.0 and must be less than 5.5. It is telling that, man, whatever the query you have given, in this query, we don't have any provider plugins. That is the reason it is not able to retrieve. If you go and check the official documentation, in the official documentation, if you go and check here, are we able to see 5.4.0 or 5.40.0? So definitely you need to add here zeros. If you don't add zeros, it is not going to work for you. So this is a small thing you need to understand. VM main.tf. So first one is always going to be major version. Second one is minor. Third one is patch. Already you know. In minor version, you need to use double digit. Single digit is not going to work for you. If I add zero now, now see what will happen. Now use Terraform init upgrade. Is it working or not, sir? So remember, while downloading the provider plugins, major and patch no need to have the double digits, but minor version need to have. If minor version is not having double digits, is the provider plugins are going to work for you itself? No. Even though in the official documentation point, you can see every minor version is having double digits or not, sir. So please make sure while you are upgrading the downgrading Terraform provider plugins, use double digit for minor version. Why? Because single digit will not work. So like this, you can use less than, you can use greater than, you can use less than or equal to, or you can use greater than or equal to. And you can see currently version 5.56.1 is published how many days ago? And it is officially maintaining by HashiCorp. These plugins will be maintaining by HashiCorp. Already we said. So official plugins maintained by HashiCorp, partnered both HashiCorp and that company. Community will be maintaining by individual. So let me show you some other example also. Depending upon this version, code will also change. Let me show you a simple example. If I go to Google and type Terraform, AWS SG code for Terraform. If I type like this simply, now what exactly will happen, you know? Currently, you can see this is the current code for security groups. It is my current code. Are you able to see it? Okay, I'll copy this here and I'll show it here. Let me take duplicate tabs here. VM sg.tf. VM sg.tf. For example, like I'm taking duplicate tabs here. It is a tab number 1. It is a security group for current version. But if I go for drop down in my previous version, if I go to 5.2.50 and again security group code will be changed. Are you seeing it now? I'll copy this one and I'll paste on separate terminal now. Okay. Why? Because I want to show you the difference between them. sg.tf. Of course, even though if we get like this, what we can use Terraform FMT. But wait, let me connect. Now, if I go and see sudo -i VM sg.tf. If I go and give this one, it is a code for my security groups. Now, if you compare in the multi-execution mode, I'm going to show it side by side for you. Cat sg.tf. If you can see, are you seeing the difference between codes? No, it is a current version code. It is the previous version code. If I take this code and if I try to execute on current version, it might work or it might not work. If I take the old version code and if I try to execute, it might work or might not work. That is the reason why we are going to update the provider plugins. So is the concept of provider plugins clear for all of you? Know? Can you please confirm me once? Online, can you please tell me provider plugins clear for all of you or not? Clear. Great. So now if you use Terraform plan, Terraform apply, this automatically it is going to work for you. Okay. Security group will be created, but of course it is next concept. I'll tell you later. So here you can use this one. Of course, not only for AWS, if you want to update the local provider plugin, just to go to local and instead of local AWS, replace it as local. Sir, for example, I want to replace my local provider plugin. Just type Terraform local provider. That's it. Now automatically you'll be going to the local provider block where you can see the drop down. You can see 2.5 is the latest version. But previously when I said 4 PM batch, it was 2.2.2. No, sir, I want to update the GitHub provider plugin. So just give Terraform GitHub provider. Like that, which provider plugin you want to update? Terraform provider name. In the Google, you'll be getting the official documentation. In the official documentation, you can go and click on use provider, copy paste the code. That's it. By default, latest one will come. For example, you download the latest plugin now. After 2 months, your AWS console change. Now you want to do anything on Terraform. You need to go for latest plugins or not. So after that, currently by default you'll get latest only. But after getting it, after 2 or 3 months, you need to update the plugins now. That is the reason. So online is the concept of provider plugins. Clear for all of you know. Version constant. How to update the versions? Clear for all of you know. Can you please confirm? Clear. Okay. So next, one of the dangerous command in Terraform is going to be Terraform refresh command. Which command? I highly recommend not to use this command in real time. Why? Because if you use this command on real time, you might have the chance to lose the entire infrastructure. I'll show it lively. Okay. Let me go and show. For example, Terraform refresh is the command which we are going to use to refresh the state file. So it will store the values when we compare with real time. For example, let me go and create security group now. Already I'm having security group code now. So move s.tf to Terraform folder. Select Terraform. Just to go and give Terraform apply command. So now I'll be getting one security group. Okay. I'm creating a security group here, but you can create any resource. Oh, wait. I have main. Okay, wait. And one more thing I see here, what the major thing you need to understand is, let me remove security group. I have EC2. Always need not to give main.tf. If it is security, give sg.tf. If it is EC2, give EC2.tf. If it is EBS volume, give EBS.tf like that. Okay. So now let's go and Terraform apply for my EC2 instance. Terraform state list. Wait, I think the EC2 got not created. I don't have code here. That is the reason I'm not able to create. Okay. Let me go and put the code now. I don't want this life cycle. Just terminate this life cycle here. Now go and create. Currently, you are going to create the EC2 instance on Northern Virginia region. Let me go to instances. So guys, there are some other instances which I'm gonna use it for my Ansible concept in the previous session. So don't confuse here. Okay. There are some Ansible servers running here. So just please don't mind this one. So now if I give the command Terraform state list, Terraform state list. Now, are you seeing instance running here? And simply you can go here and if I see, I have the server called Lucky server. Okay, I just want to list the Lucky server. Are you seeing the server? Currently this is on which region? Northern Virginia. Sir, if I use Terraform refresh, what will happen? Now, for example, I'll go to main.tf. In the main.tf, what I'm trying to do is I'll change something here called region is equal to AP South 1. What I'll change? AP South 1. And if I comment this code, for example, if I comment this code, I'm just commenting. How to comment means slash star star slash. For single line, you can use hash, but for multi-line, it is a way how you can comment the code. For example, if I go and give the command Terraform refresh, by Terraform refresh, see what will happen. It is refreshing the instance state. Correct or not, sir? Okay. So now let me come back to the original concept here. Terraform refresh main concept is to refresh the state file. It will store the values when you compare real world infrastructure when we modify the Terraform values in the real world infrastructure. It will not apply to state file. Let me show some the other example before this one. Let me go via main.tf. I'll remove this comment. Why? Because I want to show some differences for you. I'll remove this one also. Region. I'll give it later. Region is equal to AP South 1. But as of now, I'll just explain the basic concept for you. And we can go why it is very dangerous. So if I go and see cat terraform.tf state. Currently, what is the state file you are having? Cat terraform.test backup. Are you seeing information on state file? No, it got vanished. It is on backup. For example, let me go and see lucky server. Sir, for example, if I try to change this lucky server to Raham server, for example, let's take. And if I hit enter, now what exactly will happen, automatically, if I go and give Terraform refresh command, this refresh command, oh wait, Terraform refresh. This refresh command will compare the original infrastructure. If anything is modified in the original infrastructure, it will update to the state file. Now, if I go and see cat terraform.tf state backup, is the value changed here? Wait, why state file is not coming? The state file need to come here. Give me a second. Let me remove the state files here. Terraform.tf state. I'll remove. And I'll delete this server manually also. Why? Because I just want to recreate this one. State file need to come, but unfortunately it gone. It's okay, fine. I can recreate this server. Use Terraform apply. Is it creating new one? So forget the previous concept. Their previous concept state file haven't stored the information, but I'm regenerating the state file. Still creating, wait. Oh, is it? But for me, it is working very fine. Like I said previous class, now it was working fine. So you can see my server got created. Currently, if I go and give the command cat terraform.tf state, what in the state file, what is the name of the server? Lucky. But if I go and do manual changes here, so manually, instead of lucky, what I'm going to give it now? Raham. So by default, state file will not track the manual changes by default. But if I give Terraform refresh. So now this command will compare my original server to the state file. In original resource, if I have any change, that change will replicate to the state file. Is it refreshing the state file now? Now if I give cat terraform.tf state, what is the file name now? Sorry, server name now? Raham server. That is what desire means. What is on my configuration file? Current means what is the infra. So whenever if you do any change, for example, it is my current EC2 resource. It is my state file. So whenever if I run Terraform refresh command, this state file will be compared with the original resource. If original resource having any change, that change will come to the state file. Or if the original resource doesn't have any changes, now it won't reflect any changes. First time I done some manual change, but second time I'm not doing any change. Now you can see there is nothing will happen here. We'll just refresh the state file. But if I go and see, is the name modified now? No. So here if you can see, it will store the values when compare the real world infra. When we modify Terraform values in real infrastructure, it will not replicate in the state file. So we need to run the command called Terraform refresh command. It will refresh the state file. While refreshing the state file, it will compare original values of the state file. If the original values are modified of real infrastructure, then it will be replicate. Just now I shown you. So the command will be Terraform refresh. In interview, they are going to ask you, how do you refresh the state file without using Terraform refresh command? The answer will be, whenever if you use Terraform plan, Terraform apply, Terraform destroy, automatically the Terraform will refresh the state file. Directly, if you run Terraform refresh, there will be chance of losing the infrastructure. There will be chance of losing the infrastructure. So that is the reason we are not going to run Terraform refresh by default. For example, if you see, the moment if I run Terraform plan, now see Terraform plan, is it refreshing the state file or not, sir? See here, first line you can get. Refreshing or not? You can go and see, is it refreshing or not? Even though if you go for Terraform apply, Terraform apply also you are going to get the refresh. By default, you can get the Terraform refresh by default here. Are you seeing refresh now? And even though if I give destroy also, it will get refresh. So there is no necessary to run the Terraform refresh command implicitly. Why? Because plan, apply, and destroy will do it. But what if, for example, if I do anything changes here, vim main.tf, in the main.tf, if I try to give region is equal to AP South 1. See, I'm just modifying this small change, but if I run Terraform plan or if I run Terraform apply auto approve, apply auto approve. Now this command will directly refresh the state file or not, sir? Now see what will happen. Whenever you refresh the state file, now see what is the following output you are going to get. What happened here? It is trying to create some different resource. It is trying to create some. If it creates the different resource, will we have the chance to lose the existing infra or not, sir? Why? Because you are on same workspace. Which one? So it is not recommend to run the Terraform refresh command separately. If I use Terraform refresh here, now see what refresh will done here. Empty or non-existing. It is saying that you don't have state file. You don't have state file. So just to give cat terraform.tf state, where is your information? It gone. Why it gone, sir? You run the Terraform refresh command. Which command? So it is not recommended to run the Terraform refresh command. If you run, you cannot track the resource. So this is very, very dangerous command. So don't run this manually. But by default, whenever if you apply, destroy or create, this is going to be run explicitly. So in interview, they are going to ask you a question. Or in certification exam also, this question will come damn sure. At what stages Terraform will refresh the state automatically? Option number 1, by using Terraform refresh command. Option number 2, plan. Option number 2, apply. Option number 4, destroy. Option number 5, B, C, D. Which one you want to select now? B, C, D. Why? Because no need to run Terraform refresh. These commands will execute directly. That's it. So online is the concept of Terraform refresh command. Clear for all of you? Know? Can you please confirm in chat box once? Wait, let me rename myself. Why? Because you might confuse with the name. So is the concept of Terraform refresh clear for all of you now? Clear. Great. So I'm telling, so change something manually and check. Disadvantages will be sometime it can delete the existing infra due to small sort of change. So in real time, we never run this command manually, and you can log the state file also. I shown you in a live way or not, sir? That's it. Fine. So the next one will be Terraform import and Terraform modules. Okay. I'll explain what is Terraform import and what is Terraform modules. Which one you want? First of all, Terraform import or Terraform modules, sir? Import you want, huh? Okay. Why? Because you are very waiting for this one, I know. So guys, Terraform import is the command which main purpose is to track the resources from Terraform which you create manually. Let's say Terraform will track the resource which is creating by Terraform only. For example, you create a resource. You create what? That resource you create manually. Now, if you want to track that resource, in that case, what you gonna do? You cannot do it. Why? Because Terraform will track the resource which is creating from Terraform only. So in that case, there is a concept called Terraform import, which can do the tracking of the resources which you create manually. And I said in the Sunday, I done some support work for some X guy. The same work I have done, I'll show you how to do it. But before that, here you can see destroy command is not working. Why destroy command is not working? I don't have state file. Why state file gone? I use Terraform refresh command implicitly by doing some manual changes. It is very become to track it or not, sir. That is the reason. Of course, we can do it, but I'm just seeing it here. Instance got removed. You can see the RAM server got running, Lucky server got deleted. So let me go and let me terminate this one manually. Okay. So now in the meanwhile, I'll be trying to create an EC2 instance manually. Of course, there are a lot of instances. If you go and see Nexus. So this server I created manually, sir, in my previous class. Instead of creating a new server, I can use the existing server here. Wait. Let me remove this for, first of all, terminate. See, let's take a server. I have hell lot of servers which I create manually. Let's take in your case, you create a manual server. Now, if you want to track this Nexus server, this is created manually. Okay. So copy the instance ID. Are you seeing the instance ID here? Now, if you want to track this from your Terraform, so go to your main.tf. You can remove everything as of now here. I'm going to take one VM main.tf. First of all, you need to write provider AWS. Next. Region is not required. Already you configured on AWS configure. But if you want to give region, you can give US. It is optional. No need to give. Region is US East 1. So now just use import. Which one? Import. Import, you are going to run on two things. Guys, you can import the information to only state file, and you can import the information to state file and configuration file. Previously, people used to import the information of resource to state file only, but we can import the resource to state file and we can generate the configuration file also. That means whatever the Nexus server you created, I can create a configuration file for it. So in import, you are having two things. First one will be to and ID. So these are the only two things I'm going to have now, to and ID. To means you are going to import the configuration to block called AWS instance with the name called Nexus. Here you can put whatever the name you want. It is a block label. I think you know block label, right? That's it. ID means you want to give the server ID. What you want to give? That's it. Now if I go and give the command Terraform plan hyphen generate config out is equal to I'm gonna give ec.tf. Anything you can give. So now if I give this command, automatically configuration will be generated to ec.tf. Just go and check. So it is telling that if I go and see, of course, you will get some errors. Don't worry about these errors. In the ec2.tf, are you seeing the code of Nexus server or not, sir, completely? Seeing the code or not? How this code come? It got imported. You can see I never created file called ec.tf. I simply use the command Terraform plan. After planning, what are the output you are getting? Generate that configuration output to the ec2.tf. Now, automatically a file called ec2.tf will comes into the picture, and in the ec2.tf, you can see the complete information about the Nexus server. Now, if we go and see here, we are having a issue with the IPv6. Of course, whenever you are getting the issue with IPv6 in real time, we are not going to use IPv6. You can remove these blocks completely. Let me go in main.tf, sorry, in ec.tf. So here, wherever the thing I'm gonna see IPv6, I'll remove them actually. Why? Because I don't use IPv6. Let me go and see the file names. Like the names will be, like line number will be 15 and, oh wait. One is line number 15 and second error is from line number 14. So VM ec.tf, give set number. This will show me the line numbers. Line number 14. So here you can see IPv6. Are you seeing the IPv6 address count here? Remove them. Why? Because without them, we can also create. Why? Because these are optional. Now go and give the command Terraform apply auto approve. Now automatically your state file will track the information of EC2 also. Let me go and show you. Currently, I don't have any state file. Now if I go and see cat terraform.tf state, is it tracking my Nexus server information or not, sir? But how I get the Nexus server? How I get the Nexus server? Manually. But I'm able to import her or not, sir? Like this. Similar activity, let's go and do with the bucket. Okay. So I'll go to here, S3. In the S3, I'll be going to click on this new link. So let's create a bucket in front of you. I want to create in front of you. So bucket name, like I'm creating on US1, my bucket name, like can be anything. I'm giving some random name. Just to go and click on enable, click on create bucket. Now tell me in front of you, I create the bucket. How I created? Manually, right? Now I want to track this bucket. So it is the bucket name. Again, same configuration. Just to go here, VM main.tf. In the main.tf, so for import, how to write the block, sir? Import. First of all, here into give ID. That sorry, 2 here. 2 means you need to give the resource attribute. I am importing to AWS S3 bucket with the name called bucket name can be anything. Here I can give 1 also. This is up to user defined. Next give here ID. ID I want to give the bucket name. Why? Because buckets won't have ID. So definitely need to give the name itself. Now again, here what I'm going to do is give the command Terraform plan generate output. So generate config output to s3.tf. Which one? S3 dot. Now if I give this command automatically, the configuration will come to s3.tf. If I go and see, it is telling that one to import. Now, are you seeing s3.tf? Cat s3 dot. How the configuration is coming? Have I given the configuration malware or Terraform is doing it? You can see it very, very clearly. Generated by Terraform. That means whatever the resource configuration you are doing now, the resource configuration is generating from Terraform itself. So whatever you want to import, just put import block to end ID. So after now importing, but still my state file is not going to track this one. If I use Terraform state list, is it tracking S3 bucket? No. Why? Because you need to run Terraform apply command. If you run Terraform apply command, then only my state file will track now. Just go ahead and check. One is important. Now if I give Terraform state list, is it tracking my bucket now? There you go. Like this, you can import whatever you want. Same way. Same way. You don't believe, but I'll tell a scenario actually. But before that, is the concept of importing the resource of Terraform clear for all of you know? Yes. Now, if I want to manage them from Terraform, I can manage. If I use Terraform destroy, now this need to be happen. Why? Because these are managing from Terraform. So if I use Terraform destroy, this need to be destroyed. The reason why I'm destroying is to make you sure I can manage them from Terraform. Now I destroyed from Terraform or not, sir? That means these resources are managing from how now? Terraform itself. So is the concept of Terraform import clear for all of you know? Online, can you please confirm? Is the Terraform import clear for all of you or not? Can you please confirm in chat box once? It is a bucket. Click on refresh. That won't visible now. Is it gone? There you go. And if I go to EC2 also, unfortunately, I removed my Nexus server. Shit. I forgot and removed the Nexus. Why? Because it is a project one. Okay, it's fine. It's completely fine. Okay, like this. So this is the Terraform thing you need to do. And let me explain the freelancing project now. In the last Sunday, Saturday, I was very happy. Why? Because we won the World Cup. You know. So I was very happy. Like I was roaming on the outside. He called me. So at that time, so brother, like you took so much of time till now. So much of time is to accept that project. He approached me on the Wednesday. Thursday, I said, Kal dekenge. Friday, I said, no, no, tomorrow we'll do it. Saturday, I'll tell, no, brother, pakka tomorrow we will take. After night, so he called me, like, brother, it was very important for me. So please do it for me. So he is the friend of my previous student. Her name is like, I don't remember the name actually. So my previous student. So then he said me the concept actually, what they are expecting to do. The thing is, they create infra manually. Why? Because there is no person in the organization who know Terraform. So the company done everything manually. Now they have the requirement to introduce Terraform. Why? Because their client asked to work on Terraform. So definitely if client required, we need to do it in real time. Correct or not? So he was the person who put fake experience. This person. At the time of interview, what he said, he said he was Terraform expert. He means not he. The person who is doing the mock, that means who is giving the prompt for him, lip syncing. Background person said that I was Terraform expert. But what the interviewer is thinking, the person who is giving the interview, he was Terraform expert. Then these people called him his name is Shaker actually. Shaker, he was expert on Terraform, no? So you want to import the Terraform migration from on-prem to, sorry, not on-prem, from AWS to we want to import the infra to Terraform. So you please help us. They asked him. Now what he want to do? He don't know anything. He put some complete fake experience and he gone to the prompting actually. He learned some course from XYZ Institute, which is very famous one. He said me the name also, but I'm not gonna reveal this one. He said me some XYZ Institute. Okay. Okay, that should not be recorded here. Okay, fine. So after that, I asked him, brother, you have taken course from some other XYZ institute, no? So why you are not able to do it? Means I taken the course, but I don't know like what they taught. It gone from up above the mind. The content has not gone to my mind. The content has gone up above the mind actually. Then I said that okay, I'll help you. He said that from past 7 months, this task is pending. That means he taken support from other person from past a few months, but still they are not able to migrate. They are having a lot of issues. Then after that, first of all, I have seen the architecture of the organization. Then I list out all the resources what I want to import. Within 3 hours, I imported the complete infrastructure. But the same work these people are doing from past 7 months. How many months? And the most important thing is here, whatever the code that I am showing you here, same code I have used there. But of course, there I am almost all having 80 buckets, 10 servers, one EKS cluster, one auto scaling group, 3 elastic load balancers, and complete end-to-end VPC include subnets, 10 subnets, 3 route tables, NAT gateway, internet gateway, everything. There are almost all 100 resources that I imported through Terraform. How many resources? For 2 resources, it took 5 minutes. But for 100 resources, just think how much of time it will take. So I have done this one. Then I explained him after my work is done. I said to him, so brother, like your work is done, just come and give me the money and take your laptop. Said that he was shocked actually. I thought it will take at least 1 week, but how you done within 3 minutes? I called him. I said, this is the same work that what I teach for my student. Even if you go to my student and if you ask him, he will do the same work for you. Then later that I explained for him. So how to do the migration for the next time. Why? Because whenever in next time, if the same work come to that person should not come to me. Why? Because I am taking money from him. So I need to do some justice for him actually. So I explained him the whole process. So brother, whenever the next time task like this come, you need to use the syntax. And you need to use this kind of concept to import. And after importing, you need to export the state file to the backend. I think you know S3 backend support, right? That also I explained for you. So finally he felt very happy. You know, only for that single cost, only for that single task, how much I charged actually? 20,000. How much? Even you can do the task and you can earn some 20,000. Why? Because what are the way I'm explaining? Same thing you are going to do, right? I said him, even my students can capable of doing this one. How to get freelancing? First of all, you need to go to some real time and you need to earn some knowledge. Then you can get freelancing. I got lot of support work like this, but I don't do supporting. Why? Because my complete work is some other mode actually. I'll be on classes and I'll be on some other business actually. That is the reason I'm not accepting any support work. But if you want any support work, just let me know. I'll provide it for you. But not now after working for some experience in real time. Because after learning the course, if we can do support work, nobody will go to the jobs. Everybody will do support work only. Got my point? Huh? That's it. So now, too costly. Those people are doing it from 7 months, but I am doing within 7 months salary. What is 7 months salary, Sudha? 7 months means like his package is, he said 11 LPA. That means let's take at least 80,000, least case. 8,700, what is the value? 8,700. 56, right? Then how much I charged? 56 means 5.6 lakhs, guys. It's not 56,000, okay? Yeah. For me, do for free. Sure, sure. Do one thing. After cracking the job, all of you, take your laptops and come to me. I'll do all of your work and you do and go and enjoy. Man, it's not highly impossible funny actually. Okay, why? Because whenever if you are doing support, means I'm telling you one thing, without understanding the architecture, you cannot work. To understand the architecture, I need to have your laptop. I need to invest some time. Why? Because if you don't know architecture, how can you give support for the guy? Correct or not? And the worst part about that organization is there is in the roles concept. That role will expire for every 30 minutes. Again, 30 minutes into relogin again. For every 30 minutes. I said the roles concept, right? Revoke session. Let me tell you. Let me show that one also. So in that organization, in the IAM, I said this concept in the live class only. If you remember, let me show it now one more time also. See, if you go to the role section, they have given the role to log into AWS with some restricted permission. So for example, this is the role of the person actually. Here if you go and see, click on edit. Are you seeing the maximum session duration? In the custom duration, go and put some seconds. What is the value of 30 minutes? 30 into 60. 63 sir. So that means how many seconds you're going to put here? 1800 seconds. Correct or not, sir? So like this, for every 30 minutes, the role is going to be expired actually. But here the minimum duration will be 1 to. Sir, you are telling that it is going to expire for every 30 minutes. But here it is telling the minimum duration of 1 to. How, sir? How it is possible? The role duration is minimum here 1 hour. If I click on try to edit, if I try to bring it down, how can I do it? Click on learn more. Let me show you. In IAM, what you can do is, wait. You can go and see in the below section. Are you seeing the 15 minutes maximum session to 1 hour? We have something called as assume role. Which one? With the concept of assume role, we can put the customized duration from 15 minutes to 12 hours or 1 hour. For 15 minutes to 1 hour, depends upon your work. So you can choose. By default, it will come with one only, but you can do customizing. When you do customizing, when you work on real time with lots of knowledge, then you have the everything in your mind. Okay. So we have something called as STS actually. With the help of STS, you can do the customizing role here. If I go and see, if I click on assume role from CLI, if I click on this, I'm just showing you like what I have seen there. If you go and see, there will be assume role. So if you go this one and give the role ARN and give session name, and if you give the time here, if you give the time, so automatically based upon the time, you are going to get the session. Or sir, no, if I want me to show some live example, let me go and use ChatGPT for it. Of course, I can use official documentation also, but I'm using ChatGPT. I'm using a prompt for ChatGPT. Try ChatGPT. Is it water? Yep. Thank you. I'm using generate a CLI command for STS role in IAM for 15 minutes login or 15 minutes expiry. Or let's take 30 minutes. It depends upon your choice. I'm going to take it as 30. Hit enter. Now, if you go and see, are you seeing the row policy here? Simply do this policy, create a role for it, and use it. That's it. You can do it. Okay. This is the way. And again, it depends upon your choice. But I asked him to at least increase to 1 hour. Why? Because for every 30 minutes, if it is logged off, I need to do a lot of work actually. So I asked him to at least change it for 1 hour. That's it. Is the concept clear for all of you now? Yes. Online is the concept of import clear for all of you. Can you please confirm? I mean, import and what are the work I shared with you? Okay. Fine. So next one will be Terraform modules. Which one? There is a concept in Terraform actually module. Without writing the Terraform code, you can create resources. Without writing the code. Which one? Without writing the code, we can use the instances. We can do anything. How means with the help of modules. But first of all, let me go and tell you what is the modules in Terraform. Guys, you know Ansible roles actually. What is Ansible role? Ansible role is organizing the playbook into structured format. It can encapsulate the data. It is for reusability. Correct or not, sir? Same way in Terraform, we have the concept called modules actually. The primary function of the modules is for reusability. Okay. Let me go and show you the structure here. Here you can see modules. Modules main purpose is for it divide the code into folder structure. A module that has been declared by other module is often referred as. That means here if you go and see, I'll explain practically what is the parent module and child module. We can publish module for other to use. For example, if you write a module and if you want other people to use that module, for example, I create the infrastructure from modules. In your company, you have the same requirement to create infra. I can give the module. The single module will enough to create the complete infra for you. Like that. So we can write the module and we can publish the module in Terraform and other people can able to use it. These modules are free to use and Terraform can download them automatically if you specify with the appropriate source and version and a module call block. I'll explain. But before that, let me go in, create two modules here. For example, if I go to main.tf, in main.tf, I can write provider here. Of course, provider you can write on some other block also, but I'm writing on main.tf. Here module actually, what I'm writing here. Sorry, man, it got disconnected. Wait. So provider is AWS. So now I want to create two resources. One is AWS instance. So I'm creating module. First module is instance module. Okay. And you can use brace for it. and inside you are going to write here source. Source means from where you are getting the content. In my current folder, I'm going to create the folder called modules. Inside my modules, I'm going to create one more folder called instance. Okay. That's it. So here I'm going to put the code. Second one is I'm going to have one more module that is for my buckets. So I'm going to put it as buckets. So for the buckets, where you are getting the code from, I'm getting the code from my folder called source. I mean, like a source is the path where your code is going to be located. In the source, I'm telling from my current folder, I'm going to have the folder called modules. Inside the modules, I'm going to have one more module called buckets. From here, I'm going to get the code itself. So module number 1 will be instance and module number 2 will be for instance, where you are getting the code, I'm getting the code from folder called modules instance, and bucket where you are getting the code from the folder called modules and buckets. So of course, here S is optional. Even though if you give bucket, name is up to your choice. Okay, you can use singular or plural, anything is fine. I'm going to make it simple by using bucket. So now as per this one, mkdir -p, first of all, I'm going to create the folder called modules. Inside that first one will be instance, instanc. Second one will be bucket. So let me install tree for your simplicity. Yum install tree -y. So if we click on refresh, if I use the command called tree, now currently you are having one main.tf, cat main.tf. Oh, sorry, cat main.tf. In the main.tf, how many modules you are having? One is instance, second one is instance code you are put on the modules folder called instance. Are you having module folder instance? And bucket code where you are going to put a folder called modules inside the. Now put your instance code inside the instance folder and bucket code inside the bucket folder. VIM inside modules, inside instances, I'm going to write the main.tf, or for your simplicity, write here ec2.tf, anything is fine. Now go and write the ec2 code here. For example, here I have the ec2 code. That's it. Okay. So here you are going to write the code for it. So I'm going to take a count is equal to 1. 1 is enough. I don't want provision 2. Key pair I don't want. So I can remove this one. Instance type, I want smaller instance type. Wait. T2 micro. Of course, you can put anything, but I'm going to make it very simple. That's it. Now here inside modules, I have one more module called bucket. Here I'm going to put s3.tf. So already I have the code here. What I can do is I can copy the code and I can paste it here. So I'm going to give the bucket name as like some XYZ, anything. Now if I give the tree command, you'll be getting the complete clarity. Give the command tree. In the tree, if I open the main.tf now in the main.tf, what is the first module you are having? Instance module code is on modules folder instance. In modules folder instance, are you having ec2.tf? What is second module? Bucket. So in the folder called modules, you are having the bucket folder. In the modules folder called modules, are you having the bucket? Are you seeing s3.tf here? Like this. Now, if you give Terraform, don't know, init. Why? Because you are adding new block now. Module is a new block. For every new block, you are going to use init. So is the modules installing or not, sir? Now give Terraform, plan and apply you can give. I am using apply auto approve. It will create the resources. Is it creating the resource or not, sir? T2 micro invalid. T2 dot micro spelling is wait. The only mistake is the micro spelling is wrong. Give MICRO. Now give Terraform apply. Now here, my modules are executing or not, sir? Modules is very, very easy concept. However, you are using Ansible roles to reusability. Same like you are going to use modules. But remember guys, in real time, whatever the codes you are going to write, every code you need to put on module only. Why? Because module will give me the clarity. If you use modules concept, now what will happen, if you want to do any modification on EC2 instance, directly go to instance module. Now if I want to do any change for bucket, go for bucket module. Now if I want to do any change for VPC, you can go for which module here? In real time, we are going to put the complete files, configuration file in the module structure. And why? Because it gives us a lot of clarity. So if I give an ls-al, so are you seeing the modules folder here? Inside the modules folder, you can go and you can check how many modules you are having. And we can see main tf.swap. It is something different actually, which you can see main tf.swap. I mean, like, don't confuse it. It is a file actually. What Spackman can do. That's it. So here, whatever I said means, so module is for reusable. It will divide the code into folder structure. The module has been called by other module is called as child module. Here, what are the child modules? Instances and buckets will be called as child module. Okay, and this is my main module. You can call it as root module and child module, or you can call it as parent module and child module. We can publish module for other tools. That means what are the module that you are created now? If your company is having the same requirement, I can publish the modules and you can use it them. Okay. And here next thing will be, these modules are free to use and Terraform can download them automatically if you specify in a like appropriate source and version in the module block. For example, let me go and show them high level overview. Again, I'll come back to my supporting work only. He said that, bro, like you have done the importing and everything. Now, in future, if I want to use the configuration to create the resources, can I use the same file and do resource creation? Means I said yes. But because we have the configuration file, we can change the values and we can do. But apart from that, I teach him how to use module. Why? Because let me tell you one important thing. AWS will give some direct modules for us. For example, if I want to create a security group, or if I want to create a bucket, or if I want to create any instance, I don't write the code. I'll go and type Terraform EC2 module. If I directly type like this, AWS official documentation will give the module. Are you seeing the source here? Now, if I want to create EC2 instance, I don't do anything. I'll just copy paste it. Automatically, I'll get my EC2 instance. Let me show it. Copy this one. Let me delete the existing infrastructure. I use Terraform destroy and I'll show it separately for you. I'll show you how to publish. Don't worry. For publishing, you need to have the GitHub repository, and that need to be like verified by AWS actually. Directly, you can publish on your GitHub, and if AWS want to verify it, you need to make the PR for them. Okay, today is 58, tomorrow 59, next is 60. Okay, fine. By today, no. I'm asking how many days? Total 57 complete. Today is 58, right? Okay, fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove everything here, rm minus rf star. I'll remove everything. Now, if I simply, whatever the code you are having here, I'll copy the simple code here. I'll go to main.tf. In main.tf, if I put the module here, see, if you want to publish the module, you need to have the module block with module block name source. I am getting the module from Terraform AWS module, EC2 instance, AWS, and module version. If you want to publish the module, your module must be public, and your module must be on GitHub, and your module must be having the versioning enabled. These three are primary things what you need to have to publish any module. Now, if I give the Terraform init command, now see what will happen. Now it will download the module for me. So downloading the module. If I give LL, if I use Terraform plan, plan spelling wrong, PLAN. Now it will plan to create the resource. Check it out. So you're creating the resource. Tell me one thing, without I write the code, how it is working for me? Because models are already created, you can use the models. Now, if I give Terraform apply auto approve, now I'll be getting the EC2 instance. Let me show it off for you. Is it creating the instance now? Sir, how easy and how beautiful the models are, sir? Easy or not? Without writing the code in real time, copy the modules and directly use it. Now, if I go and give the command Terraform state list, it will show me whether I create the instance or not. Just use Terraform state list. Oh, it's not kist, it is list. Is it running here? You can see EC2 module is running the instance. Okay. Now, if I go and see, I'll be getting the instance to my console also. I want to check the instance now. So let me go and show you the instance here. And you want to filter out the latest instance that you created. You don't know what is the name actually, but you want to filter out. What you can do? Go to the timestamp section. Are you seeing timestamp here? Double tap on it. If you double tap on it, it is going to filter on the top to bottom format. Okay. Already we discussed in the buckets concept. Same here also. You don't know what is the server you create, but you want to get it. So 910, that means it is the server what we created now at the top one. Server created or not, sir? Like this. And even if I want to destroy them, I can go and I can give the Terraform destroyed, sir. So like this in real time, for example, if I want to create any resource, I don't write the code, I can directly use module. Why? Because means even though if I write the code or even though if I use module, I'll be getting the output or not, sir. But to write the code will take a lot of time for me. But to use the module will take only 1 minute. See, it is the model code what you can get. For example, in this module, instance type is T2 micro. What is instance type? But I want to make it T2 medium. You can change it. No, sir, I want to give tags as ABC. I can give it. Customization is acceptable. Modules will give direct code only. But if you want to make it customized, you can go and you can customize as per your requirement. You can see the different configuration also. It is for single server. But if you want multiple EC2, is it providing multiple EC2 or not, sir? And you want to get spot EC2, you can get modular web plus everything you can get it here completely. You can go and you can check what are the things that you can provide for the modules here. That will come with default code, but you can do customization as per your requirement. No, sir, for example, I want to create my, how do we call this one? I want to create the auto scaling group, but I don't know how to write code for auto scaling group. What you can do? Go to the official documentation and type Terraform auto scaling group modules. So if I type here, Terraform ASG for auto scaling group module in AWS. Type like this, go for auto scaling module. In the auto scaling module, are you seeing the code here? Copy paste, auto scaling group will come. I mean, it will come with the default example like this. Idigo. Sorry, idigo means not. See this one. So minimum size and maximum size you can edit as per your requirements and you can do. I asked him to, brother, don't use the configuration file. If you use configuration file, again you are going to write some additional information. Don't do like this one. Use the models concept. Use the model, modify the requirement and use it for different environments. It will come with default configuration, but you can change as per our requirement. And the best part is, can we trust the models or not? Yes, of course you can trust. Why? Because these modules are verifying by AWS provider. Which one? And you can see currently in this week, how many people download this module? In this week only. That means you can see how many people are using the modules in real time. Like that. So you can see provider is AWS and these are officially managed by AWS. So you don't have to worry about the modules. In ChatGPT also we can get it. But I'll take it from AWS documentation. And like you asked me how to publish the model. To publish the model, there are some things. First of all, you need to put the model on the source code in the GitHub. Are you seeing this one? This model is on this GitHub. First thing is you need to have the GitHub repository for model. Second thing is your repo must be public. And third one is you need to give versioning. Are you seeing the versioning here currently? 5.6.1. So these will be the major things you need to use for the module publishing. Without them, you cannot able to publish any kind of module itself. Okay. So there you can go and you can check. And if you want to contribute for this module, you can raise a PR. That means, for example, see in this module, if you want to add some any other details, go and click on version.tf, try to modify this one and raise a PR actually. Okay, so this is also possible. So on high level overview, modules main purpose is for reusability. Instead of writing the code, AWS will give the module, take the module, use init, use plan, use apply. Is the concept of modules clear for all of you know? Online, can you please confirm is the concept of modules clear for all of you or not? It is one of the beautiful concept in the entire Terraform itself, if you ask me. Okay, and here you have two things: root module and child module. Root module means every Terraform configuration have at least one module that is called as, which consists the resource defined on dot TF file in the main working directory. That means if you go and see in the main working directory, if I can go and see LL in the main working directory. Previously I said, let me go and show you. In the main working directory, what are the TF file you are going to call it as root module. Okay, and second one will be called as child module. Child modules are nothing but a Terraform module. Usually the root module out of configuration can call other modules for the configuration. That means whatever you define inside the modules folder, that will be called as child module, and whatever you define outside of the module folder can be called as root module. Which one? Root module. See, already as discussed, if you want to publish the module, so you need to have the following requirements. So definitely you need to have this one. You need to use the module block, you need to use module resource, you need to have the GitHub. So everything you are going to use for the Terraform module publishing. That's it. So is the module clear for all of you know? Correct. If you want to develop a module, click on module development. In the module development, you can go, come with some different one. You can see this one, creating a model, how to create the model, how to call other model, how to use the model structure. Of course, here I'm using main.tf, but you can use variable.tf and output.tf also. It depends upon your requirement to use or not. So this is the complete concept of AWS Terraform modules. So in today's class, what are the topics we have discussed till now? We discussed about the modules, and later we discussed the version concept, and after that we discussed import. So first of all, version concept, next import, and finally the concept of modules. Okay. Online, what about you guys? How's the class for all of you? Can you please confirm in chat box? Online, I'm not able to hear you. Definitely. So it was good, clear, great, fine, amazing. Huh? Okay. So these are modules one, and after modules, I need to give import and version constant. Terraform refresh also we discussed today. And tomorrow I'm going to teach you one additional topic, which is a HCP. HCP is not a part of your syllabus, but I'll teach you. HCP stands for HashiCorp Cloud Platform. Without installing Terraform anywhere, you can directly go to Terraform Cloud and you can do configuration and you can get the infra and everything. That is very, very high level overview. In real time also, only few companies will use that one, but that concept I'm going to teach in tomorrow's class. It will be very amazing concept, I can say. So online, if you are having any queries, so you can ask me now. Please go ahead with your doubts and queries if you are having any. Because I was very kind heart. Yeah, of course. But at that time I said that price he accepted. So that went. Is Terraform import man. Oh, sorry. Ah, yes. Wait. I need to give the import file. Where is the import code? So online, any doubts are in your end, please. He learned from me actually. Yeah. Basically, he said that he taken training from some other institute, but he said he wasted his money actually because what are the things that they said is not a very good thing from him actually. Huh. Name bada, काम छोटा. Let me give the block for you. Terraform import. Hey, this is stucking, man. So after giving the import, you need to use a Terraform generate out config. Solent, any queries from your end still? Let me give the notes for you initially. Linux classes done, huh? So then you can start applying for the jobs. I will recommend everyone. And I'll tell you how to register Nourish at the official website. So our people is gonna call you whether your course is done or not. If your course is done, please tell yes, and they will send you the placement links in the upcoming days for you. Let me check. Okay then. So if you don't have any doubts or any queries, let's meet on tomorrow's session with some new topic. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.